What's good people? This is your boy, Mr. Timothy D. Hall, and I'm coming back to you live with a little bit of words of wisdom. So what I want to talk about today is understanding how to be happy. Now, this is not for everybody, and of course, this doesn't engraft all the aspects of happiness. But I do think that happiness has a whole bunch of different components. And what this one today is one vital component to happiness, and that is being grateful. Gratitude, gratefulness. Now, what is gratefulness and gratitude? Gratefulness and gratitude is an understanding, like you receive things. It's like understanding that when you receive things, that people do not have to do anything for you. That it's like you got to lose a sense of entitlement that we sometimes will have in this world, and everybody has it. So it's not just an individual, but everybody has this sense of an entitlement, and sometimes you got to check yourself to see when it's there. Sometimes, it's like you think like, oh, even like you could think about it from the country perspective. Oh, this country needs to give us something. Oh, this country better give us this. Oh, this country better give us that. And it's hard. It's hard not to do it. It's just like one of those things where you can take things for granted. You know what I mean? Like for example, you go home and you turn on your lights and your lights come on. Now let's just say, for example, you do pay your bills and stuff like that. But even in you paying your bills and you going home and you have the ability to turn on your lights, it's still being grateful that your lights are on, because you got to understand from the perspective of simply because your lights are on, it doesn't mean that they always are going to be on. Sometimes in order to really truly understand gratefulness, you got to go without. You know what I mean? You got to go without. It's hard to understand the importance of something unless you have without. I'm a biology student. I used to do chemistry and biology and all this stuff. But one of the components that they told us of how you could tell what the function of something is to remove it. If you want to realize what the function of the heart is, remove it. If you want to understand what the function of the kidney is, remove it. If you want to understand what the function of the liver is, remove it. Because in doing so, your body will have to create this homeostasis in order to maintain whatever function was there. But sometimes the vital organs, they can't be replaced. But it tells you a lot about how the body operated with that organ inside of it, if that makes sense. In the same vein, it's an understanding, we take things for granted all the time. And again, it's hard not to. We as humans, we're wired in a certain type of way where we're going to take stuff for granted if it's continuously put into our face. This is why, you got like the concept of spoiled brats, spoiled brats where parents will just give their kids anything. The kids become entitled. They're no longer grateful because they almost think that it's expected that somebody gives them something, that it's expected that you give it to them. We also have this attitude out here in the world. Everybody has had it. I had this where I expected people to give me something for whatever reason. I don't know why I did, but I just expected people like, oh, don't you know what my life has been like? I expect you to give me something, and it never happened. So in doing so, it never mattered what I had or how much I had. When I was operating from a place where I was entitled, or I was or not grateful for what I had, I was always unhappy. I was always looking at other people. Another thing I was doing was I was comparing my life to everybody else's life and saying like, oh, my life, look at what this person got. Look what this person. And I'm telling you, if you don't listen to nothing else in this video, listen to your boy, Timothy D. Hall. Please believe me. Okay. I might not be that old, but trust and believe me, I'm ready. That sounds weird. I don't know what's that song? I might be young, but I'm ready. What I mean is, I might be young, but boy, trust and believe me, your boy has been through the fire. I know what I'm talking about. If you want to live a life of complete and utter misery, keep comparing your life to everybody else. I'm telling you, let me say this again, because this is so important. If you want to live a life of nothing but pure and utter complete misery, keep comparing your life to everybody else, because I guarantee you, and I say that again, I guarantee you that you'll never, ever measure up. You'll never measure up. You'll always be miserable. You'll always be short, and you'll always feel like you don't have. You always feel like you're lacking, or whatever the case may be. You'll be operating from a very negative mindset. Sometimes in life, you just not you on a different journey than other people. Some people are going to have more in their lives than you at one point in your life. That doesn't make them better than you. At other times, you're going to have more than other people. That doesn't mean that you're better than them. But this is how you're gonna. This is easy, and this is what most people do. They live according to what everybody else have. They compare themselves all the time, and they compare themselves based off of ego and stuff like that. And they have no gratitude for what they have. They're gonna live a miserable life, and people don't know how to get happy. And the reason being is because they're so engulfed in what everybody else is doing. They're so engulfed in comparing themselves. Oh dang, dude, they got the shoes like I got. Oh, my shoes look better than them. Oh, I look, and they can feel good temporarily, because the thing is, once they get into that mindset, once you get into that mindset of you're comparing yourself to everybody else all the time, inevitably you're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna find people that you feel like you're better than, and you're gonna find people that you know doggone well that you're not better than. And the thing is, again, it's not that you're not better than them or whatever. You will use people typically when they're finding ways to find out whether or not they're better than other people when they're comparing themselves. They're using superficial qualities to figure this out. Oh, does this person have a husband? Well, I don't have a husband. Well, oh, this person doesn't have a boyfriend, but I have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? There's superficial qualities. Oh, I got 50 grand in the bank. Oh, they don't. Oh, but this person got 100 grand in the bank, so I'm not as good as them. There's superficial qualities. So from the perspective of earth, from the perspective of how do I explain this? From the perspective of how people, from an egotistical perspective, how people look at themselves and compare themselves on based on what they have, you're always going to be either you're going to be inevitably in a space of like you're better than half the people and you're worse than half the other people. So you're always insecure a lot of ways, because you can only you can only have so much. You know what I mean? You can only get so far. You know what I mean? And in comparison to everybody else. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly 100% to people, but I do need people to understand this. Like, you're almost always putting yourself at a disadvantage is the point that I'm trying to get at. You'll never have enough. And you'll always have to constantly stay around people that you feel like you're better than. But then when a person that you feel like is better than you, or i.e. that the society has said that this person has more than you, you will inevitably always feel inferior. So you'll always have to stay in certain areas, or whatever. You're chaining yourself. You're locking yourself into a position whether or not you know it. And it's a terrible position to be in. But nevertheless, this is exactly what the heck that you are doing. So with all that being said, this is why it's so important never to compare yourself. You got to really be grateful for what you have. Sometimes you got to look into your child's eyes and be grateful that you have a child that's alive and well. Look at the positive things in life. Look at what you do have. Stop looking at what you don't have. Look at what you do have. You have a child that is so happy to see you. That bad little son of a gun is bad. And they need a whooping to go to bed right now. But at the same time, do you understand how many people they wish that they had what you have with that child that's looking up to you and happy and smiling, and that child is in good health and da-da-da-da-dee-dee-da. Not everybody got that. You know what I mean? Not everybody got a husband. Not everybody got a wife. Not everybody got money. Not everybody even got a job. Not everybody got a car. Not everybody got a house to live in, a place to sleep. Yeah, it's hard and stuff like that. But it's like, you got to look at, what do you have? What are the blood? You know what I mean? And the thing, you looking at what you have to compare it to somebody else is, what do you have? And thank God, like, oh my God, God, I'm thankful for what I do have. Yeah, you might be homeless right now, but are you alive? It's always something to look at that you have positive in. It's always something. You might not, like, let's just say you lost your car, but you got your feet. You ain't lose your feet. You lost your feet, but you got your life. You still got your life. You lost your life, but hey, you get to go to heaven. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's always something positive to look at. You know what I mean? It's always something positive. You always got to see the positive. That's how you get that happiness, that contentment. And again, when I say happiness is not because what we think about when we say, oh, I want to be happy, I want to be happy. What people are talking about when they say happiness is that emotional tidal wave. That's what I call it, the emotional tidal wave. People are mistaking happiness. They don't realize that happiness is an emotion. And with an emotion, emotions are just like the tides. They're like the waves. They come in, they come out. They come in, they come out. Sometimes you just wake up mad as a mud for some reason, for no reason. Other days you wake up happy for whatever reason. It's just like, it's not stationary. Those are emotions. Emotions are not stationary. What you want is truly contentment. You want contentment inside yourself, not happiness. Happiness comes and it goes. But with contentment, you're always going to have that interior joy, that interior peace. That's what you truly want. You know what I mean? And you can't get that from external stuff. External. So if you're looking for happiness, external joy, you'll never find it. You'll never find it. It don't matter how many girls you're talking to, no matter how much money you got, and no matter how much what you doing, da 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 da. It don't matter how many parties you getting into. It don't matter. It don't matter. All that stuff don't matter because it don't come from outside. It comes from inside. It truly does. And a lot of that stuff, it comes from being grateful for what you do have. Sometimes if you want to understand like how to be grateful for things, understand like what it's like to go without. You know, the crazy thing about that is that's crazy, isn't it? Sometimes you don't know what you got until it's gone. And sometimes, you gotta, I mean, it's hard to kind of like remove stuff out of your life because again, you don't know the value of stuff. So it's like you're like, oh, I need to remove this, and this, and this. But sometimes maybe take a fast or whatever the case may be. Maybe live in your house for a day or two without lights, and then you'll recognize and you'll be grateful for how lights are. Take a couple of days or like not a days, take like a day or so, a little bit of time without water, and you'll see the value in water. And when you're pouring that cup next time, you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy I got water. Take some time without, take some time to not indulge in the stuff that you are able to indulge in easily. Sometimes don't use your car for a week. I know that's hard and that's easier said than done. But the thing is, all it's trying to get you to understand is the importance of like how you got it, how good you got life. We can get so invested in looking at how everybody else got everything and we don't have anything, and we fail to realize how we got so much at our fingertips. Even respecting relationships. When I was younger, we had a step pops, and he's not the perfect thing in the world, but like I remember when the day that he died, I remember I got to his funeral. It's like, dude, I'm so grateful. And I remember I told him before he died, I'm grateful for your influence because you had a stepdad. Because a lot of dudes, they never had a stepdad. They never had that. And again, he was never perfect, but nobody's perfect. My mama wasn't perfect. My stepdad, my father wasn't perfect. None of it was perfect. But it's like this person taught me a lot. I remember I looked at, I was working in the lab my freshman year of college. And I looked at I had to go and get verification of shots and stuff. So I had to go to my childhood doctor in order to get it, in order to work in this lab. And so when I went there, I looked at the ledger and I looked at all these shots that I got. I had the shots and I looked at on the side. I didn't realize this guy was literally there for every single last one of the doctor visits. You know what I mean? And his name was there. I'm like, wow, this dude is. And before I took it for granted, and it wasn't until I got older I was like I realized how dudes, they don't need to be in your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, especially if this not your child, why would a dude stay there and like da 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 da? So if it takes a real certain type of dude to be there and help. It's like, you get grateful, like, oh my God, like, man, I know this dude was not perfect, but wow, at least like da 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 da. And it's just like even in that, like, you become more happy and content in life. Because again, even in instead that he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to be at those doctor visits. He didn't have to da 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 da. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it at all, but he did. So I remember I said thank you, and it's like I definitely made some peace with him before he died. But it also helped me in my manhood and understanding like how to move forward in this life and stuff like that. It really, I don't know, it was spiritually elevating. And it's like I became even more happier and more solid in manhood because it's like I was able to see like an aspect of manhood in the stepfather, and I took it from granted before, and I didn't see what he did. Same thing with my mama. I didn't see all the stuff that my mama did, but in general, gratitude, it's about gratitude. How to be more happy, how to be more content in this life is you got to understand is gratitude. And again, that happiness aspect is they sell you a dream in these shows and stuff like that. You got to let that one go. Happiness is not consistent. Happiness is it comes and it goes like the tidal waves. That's not what you really want. What you want is contentment. You want that interior joy, and you get that contentment and that interior joy by gratitude. It's gratitude. Like thanking God for what you do got, and not comparing yourself to everybody else and saying what you don't got. It's in understanding what you do have and being grateful for what you do have, because you don't have to have it, and you don't know how great and how good something is until it's out of your life. You don't know what you got till it's gone. So it's being grateful what you do have. And that's hard to do. But that's why it's like sometimes when I say fasting, sometimes it's important to fast. Fast from electricity, fast from like Facebook, fast from all these different type of things. And you'll understand the importance of them. You understand? So I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.